Hello, this is John Noble, and you're watching Arkham Insider.
Steve's here from Rocksteady Studios with a brand new episode of Arkham Insider for you. We've got a Batmobile Double-Bill for you today. If you want pursuit mode, we've got awesome new footage of a Riddler racetrack. And if you want battle mode, we're doing a deep dive on some of the awesome features with our very own game director, Mr. Sefton Hill. Why don't you tell us why you chose Harley Quinn for your costume?
I just love her character. She's a lovable rogue, and she appeals to so many people on so many different levels. She's fun, she's bubbly, she's energetic, and she likes Mr. J.
We promised you a battle mode deep dive, and here we are in front of the Batmobile with Rocksteady's very own game director, Mr. Sefton Hill. Sefton, what inspired you to add the Batmobile to the Arkham series?
Well, really, we just felt that it was the one thing that we hadn't had a chance to do, was to really deliver the keys to this amazing vehicle, to give the player the freedom of Gotham City as Batman gliding above the streets, but in this awesome, incredible, famous vehicle, give everyone the chance to drive this and really complete that whole Batman experience. One
of the things about the Batmobile that we absolutely love is the gadgets. What are the features that we can expect on the Arkham Knight Batmobile?
Well, it's an extension of Batman, so it's absolutely full of gadgets in and of itself, and it helps him in every single way. You know, it helps him in combat, it helps you in puzzle solving, it can be controlled remotely. I mean, there's so many things on the car, even starting from the front. Have the power winch here that can be used to pull down objects, to supply power to objects. And then as we move back across the car, you've got the cockpit, kind of a fighter pilot style cockpit, shoots backwards and forwards, instant access. These immobilizer missiles here that Batman can use in pursuit mode to take down other vehicles. I guess we've missed out these awesome tyres, these omnidirectional tyres which allow the car to move in any direction, be completely and utterly agile when fighting hundreds of tanks throughout the Gotham City streets. There's also a couple of cool new features we've never talked about at all on the Batmobile. One is the EMP, so fitted to the wheels of the car is an EMP device. It's an upgrade that you get as you play through the game. And basically what this allows you to do is temporarily stun any of the Arkham Knight's drone forces. So when you're surrounded, 20 drone tanks, they're all firing at you at once. Boom, release the EMP device. It will frazzle their attacks for a short period of time. It will fly, incoming missiles will get thrown and miss you. It gives you a little window of opportunity, a little breather while you're fighting all of these tanks. And secondly, on top of the turret there, you can just see it right on top of the turret, is what we call the drone virus. So Batman and Lucius Fox actually has developed this technology which allows him to hack into drones and flip them. It basically corrupts their friend or foe targeting device and they'll start attacking their own drones.
So you're dropping knowledge bombs about the options that we have when we're in control of the Batmobile and in control of Batman. You can take a hit with the Batmobile's heavy armor. You can evade a hit by strafing and using the dodge thrusters. You can disable enemy tanks using the EMP. You can destroy them using the heavy weaponry, and you can even turn them to your side.
That's right, yeah. I mean, if you look at it, this is one car. I mean, it's one car versus an army. So this has to be the most badass car you've ever seen, because you are literally taking on thousands of troops, hundreds of tanks, hundreds of drone forces. So this is all that stands between Gotham being completely taken over and Batman protecting his city.
Well, Batman's only got one car, but one car is all he needs. Sefton, thanks so much for giving us this deep dive on battle mode. Let's throw across to Dax on the world's most comfortable couch, who's going to show you pursuit mode and a brand new Riddler racetrack.
Right on, we are back on the world's most comfortable couch, and we are going deep underground Gotham City, and we're going to look at the threat that Riddler poses in Batman Arkham Knight. I'm joined by Adam and Jody. Adam, you're the designer of these Riddler challenges. We were talking to Ian Ball the other day, and he said these Riddler racetracks are really going to push the Batmobile to its absolute limit, but it's a lot more than that, isn't it?
Yeah, they're more than a racetrack. They're more a puzzle. They're a racetrack and a puzzle combined. It's Riddler testing Batman's intelligence, trying to prove that he's more intelligent. And he's testing the Batmobile to its limits. He's trying to test all the abilities. He's trying to prove that he's the superior person.
Classic Riddler work. Talk is cheap. Let's have a look at it in action. So we've got 3 circuits, and as you said, there's sort of an intellectual challenge going on here. Talk us through that.
Well, you can control these coloured doors and these coloured walkways, and you can put platforms out in front of yourself. They alternate, so every time you press the button, you're in complete control.
Jodie, how, as the environmental artist on this, do you create an environment that feels very authentic to the Riddler?
Well, I think the challenge was that...
Dude, you were driving up on the wall! Sorry, Jodie, carry on.
So unfair. I think the challenge was that they were these massive tracks, and you do the loop-the-loops and you drive up the wall.
Yeah, right
really
on.
Cool. And we also need like crazy hazards as well for Riddler to take out the Batmobile in. So we took it into these big underground caves, and they're all based around Gotham water. So there's dams, there's crazy sewer pipes and everything. And then he's come in and he's bolted on all his Riddler craziness, and there's a lot of like robots lying around that have helped him do it.
Right on, Jodie. What are your driving skills like that?
Okay.
Take the wheel, take the wheel. So Adam, give us some tips. I mean, you created this. This came out of your brain. When gamers get their hands on Batman Arkham Knight, what should they be really thinking about when they're taking on Riddler's challenges?
Well, they want to use a combination of the drift and the boost. So the boost obviously gives you extra speed. You can use that down the straights to get faster times. You can drift around the corners like Jodie's doing.
John, that was awesome.
So it's just using those two things, and the Batmobile has a few more abilities we've not mentioned, but it's using those as well, going straight up onto the wall here to avoid the floor exploding beneath.
Yep.
Just things like that.
And these challenges are getting more and more difficult with each lap, right?
Yes, they change each lap, so the layout changes, more and more blocks become available for you to use. It's Riddler getting more and more sadistic with each lap, trying to take you out.
Good work, Jodie, sweet work. And the Batmobile hits insane speeds, right? I mean, so this has got to be massive. Sweet finish, Jodie. Like, what sort of a footprint do they take up?
Well, they're like the city, they're enormous. We have to build roads wide enough for the car to fit in and wide enough to drift around, so they take up a huge footprint, they're massive.
This game is huge.
It is.
Adam, Jodie, thank you so much for your time. You guys are critical to finishing out Batman Arkham Knight, right? So I'm not going to take any more of your time. You guys have got to get back into the studio and finish this game.
Thanks.
That was Riddler. We're talking Riddler Caves on Arkham Insider.
It wouldn't be an episode of Arkham Insider without us taking your burning questions straight from the community. This week we've taken them from the hashtag #AskArkham, as well as from people who've directly contacted Sefton via Twitter at Sefton Hill. First question comes from CJ Matrellis, who asks, is it true that the game has in-game cutscenes, so our costume choices will carry over into cutscenes?
Yeah, so the cinematics in the game are rendered real time now. So if you're wearing a different skin for Batman, that skin is going to carry into the cinematics. It looks great as well. And we really wanted to make sure that the character you're playing is the character that appears in the cinematics. It's the same person. People you interact with are the same people from the cinematic. So yeah, the skins you wear, the characters you play, no loading screens as you play through the whole game. You can play from the start of the game to the end of the game. You won't see any loading screens. That's all a really big, important thing for us.
Next question comes from Iconic Records. What kind of Easter eggs can we expect in the game?
You can expect a lot of Easter eggs, and more in this game, probably in the last two games put together. But I don't want to ruin anything, I don't want to spoil anything. I think part of the fun is finding those things. There's some really obscure ones, there's some much more obvious ones. There's just a ton to find, and I think players are really going to enjoy it.
Next question comes from Arkham Knight 01. Will New Game Plus be returning with other modes?
Yes, so New Game Plus is back. So when you complete the main story, you're going to unlock New Game Plus. And in New Game Plus, you can go in, take all of your XP through, take your gadgets through that you've unlocked, which is a big thing, because that means basically you can then do some of the challenges from earlier on in the game, but with a whole new suite of gadgets that you never had the first time you went in, all the upgrades. And those things are all shared through both playthroughs. So similarly, any Riddler trophies that you found through the game are shared on both playthroughs. So if you played through, you've collected 100 Riddler trophies, you go in New Game Plus, you can go in and collect 100 more. They're shared between both playthroughs when you play through.
Next question comes from the Arkham channel. How hard was it to think of new gameplay mechanics for this more experienced Batman from Arkham Knight?
For the first game, we basically put all the ideas that we had into that game, and then at the end of the game, you feel a bit drained, and then you go away and have a holiday, and suddenly you're like, wow, like there's a whole new load of stuff we could do. And it was a very similar experience finishing Arkham City, put everything we had into that game, we came back for Arkham Knight, thought, okay, what can we do? Obviously the Batmobile being a huge new feature, lots of new gadgets and abilities for that. We also looked at the existing gadgets, a number of those return, and they have new abilities. Say like the Batclaw now has a new upgrade ability where you can use that to instantly take people down in combat, so you pull them into you and it smashes them down into the ground and takes people down. We have gadgets while gliding for the first time. So there's lots of new features in there that bolster your existing skill set. So all these skills that you've learned from the first couple of games, you'll bring to this game, and then they'll have new things you can do with all of those gadgets that you know and love.
Last question comes from Martino, who asks, Sefton, can you release the game already?
Well, we're so close now. We're just 3 weeks to go, and everyone's going to get to be the Batman.
That's all we've got time for. If we answered one of your questions on today's show, a t-shirt is winging its way to you. And in the meantime, be the Batman.